Hello guys, if you're doing good, if you're doing great. So this is the first episode of the podcast, The Alone short podcast. So the reason why it's called The Alone is that because I am alone, and the reason why it's called short because I cannot upload long videos, and the reason why it's a podcast because it's unscripted and unedited videos. So I would like to start with the idea of discipline. Discipline is one of the most interesting ideas that I can talk about, and I've already made a video about it this week. However, I think because of its richness, the subject has various ideologies that you can talk about. So one thing that I like about discipline is that it's common among the people that are inspiring. You know, as everyone knows, Michael Jordan, Tim Cook, right? We hear those stories about them creating those companies or creating their career or whatever. They're always disciplined. You know, they're doing the same thing every day, no matter what it is, and they're trying to be 1% better or be the top 1% and all of that, which is interesting. Right, especially the storytelling. When you hear it, it's very interesting, very appealing to the ear because it gives you that inspiring and burning in your heart that you would like to be like them. It's very interesting, and I like the quote that says that you don't need to be smarter than the rest, but you need to be more disciplined than the rest. Which is from a book that I forgot what its name, but it combines the quotes from different people. However, this is a very interesting ideology. I have read a book which is called Transforming Reality last year, about this time last year actually, and that book was interesting. It had a few thoughts about Taoism and also Stoicism. To a certain point, they didn't say that this is the Taoism, but I figured it out myself. And one thing is that I believed it at first. I was like, all right, it's cool. One of the main ideas is that you're just a normal human being. And if you try to go out from that path, you get punished and you go back to the track. And it was like, all right, let's not go out from the track, right? And I was like, oh, this is the reason why all of my suffering, and this is, I've made it the reason of every suffering that I had. And I was like, all right, I was just going out of the path and I was trying to be something that is different than being normal. And that must be a normal human living a normal life with the normal people doing normal people things, which is absolutely and completely correct, right? And I like to think about history, especially in that time. I was thinking about history, and I was saying that there were probably billions or hundreds of billions of people were before. So what makes you special, right? It's like you're just one of them. Each one of them was aspiring. Each one of them was probably had the dreams. Each one of them was aspiring to do something that is great, to be successful, to do all of those things. And I understand that everyone is different. Not everybody has the same things. Not everybody has the same mindsets. And I know all of that. But, in the grand scheme of things, like everybody goes through the same thing every single day, right? It's not something that is special. So when you're doing something that is difficult, you understand that people before you have gone through that. Right. So if you're feeling pain of some sort, like let's say as an example, exams, because I did that myself. I was saying that there is probably hundreds of millions of people around the world right now going through the same pain and stress. Right. And arguably there's people that are more and there's people that are less, which is always true. However, I like this quote from David Goggins, which says that if you want to be the top 1%, you must be imbalanced for a while. And when you become great, then you become balanced. So this instantly linked me to the book that I read, which is Transforming Reality, because it always talk about this balance, right? I was like, all right, cool. what does he mean by this, right? And I've always thought about it. It's like, what does it mean by this? And there is I believe, a scientific research that have been made, which is the most successful people in their fields, they always brag / complain, whatever you want to call it, about their difficulties. When you talk about them, when you talk with them, they're always talking about how difficult the work is. They're like, we're working all day, this is very difficult. In school as well, the best people in school, they say that this subject is very difficult, it's very hard, it requires a lot of revisions, whatever it may be, in memorization. And the research was interesting to me. I was like, all right, cool. So shouldn't they be positive and optimistic in all of the things that we study? Or should they complain or brag about their difficulties, right? Which is completely contradicting two ideas. However, it seems like both are reality. I believe that I got into the answer of this, I don't know when, but it's like, it's still the balance. So the idea of balance is right. What goes down must go up, and must go up must go down. And these people just chooses the right way to get balanced, which is interesting. So here's how I get it, which is like, instead of going up, so you go down. As an example, watching YouTube, let's not YouTube videos, let's not say that. Let's say scrolling through TikToks or Instagram Reels, or just scrolling through social media generally, right? Watching, let's say, going through that rabbit hole a few hours just scrolling, right? So if you fell into that trap, which I advise you, if you fall into that trap, just try to get out of it the fastest way possible. Try to get out of it. And you can watch previous videos that I've made how to stop using social media, because that is just one rule for you. You must have it. However, let's say that makes you happy, then you go sad, right? Because you went unbalanced. You have all of these emotions that you get from scrolling and all of that. Then you get unbalanced. You get balanced, so you go down. All right, cool. These people use that contradicting idea, which is they go down to go up. How they go down? They go down by working hard, right? It's like they work hard and they complain about it. Okay, let's say brag. I would like to use this. Brag about difficulties, right? They say, oh, my life is so difficult, but here I am going through all of these difficulties. They're going down. So life tries to balance them, but they try to go down again, because it's just how their mindset goes. So they say, I work 100 hours a week, I do this subject is very difficult, and all of that, and life tries to balance them again. It's constantly balancing them, and they're constantly trying to go down. Without, of course, I guess it must be in a healthy spectrum, because if it goes down too much, then everything goes, it's a mess, right? But it's a healthy spectrum, which is an interesting, right? It's an interesting ideology. And I know that this is all theoretical, based on one book that I've read a few years ago, 1 year ago, and a few quotes that I heard about. But this idea of thought about it before constantly, and I was thinking about how balance work if people can be successful all the time. It's like, how someone is so successful than the rest, so why isn't he balanced? Or is the balance work for certain people? So is that book was wrong? Probably, right? It's not 100% right, but it must have some truth in it, right? As there's people recommending the book and all of that. And I like to have these self-reflections on the book and the ideas and the thoughts that I consume into my brain. So for me, I make it more applicable into my life. So yeah, this was the end of our first episode of the Alone short podcast. I hope that I hope that it was helpful. I hope that I've helped you, and always focus on your mastery. Remember, heal, inspire, and teach, and see you in the next one.